Do you feel that that mutual exclusivity that seems to have gone on between science on one side and religion and mysticism on the other side is starting to close a little bit? The gap is starting to close?
Most definitely. And that's been the crux of my work in both my books, Never Letting Go, and even more so in Evidence of Eternity. But what I've seen, and I've been a speaker at Brown, Columbia, Harvard, and Yale. So when you start having Ivy League universities inviting a psychic medium to speak, plus I've been a keynote speaker at the International Association of Near-Death Studies and at other afterlife research institutes, and I'm working with IONS, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, as well. And what I'm finding now is not just survival of consciousness studies, like, Dr. Raymond Moody and the NDE, near-death experience studies, and they're extremely credible scientists. But what we're now finding, Chauncey, is that quantum physicists are now drawing a connection between spirituality and the afterlife. In fact, Dr. Michio Kaku, one of the co-founders of string theory, said that eternal life does not violate the laws of physics. And I think that the traditional scientific hostility, if you will, towards spirituality came out of Newtonian reductionist materialism. And so, Sir Isaac Newton, a great guy. In fact, when the plague of 1665 was sweeping through England, Newton, being a genius, knew to quarantine himself. And so while in quarantine, he invented calculus, he developed the laws of gravity, and refined the laws of optics. So he used his time in social distancing and social isolation very well. But the problem with Newton is that he was also a victim of the technology of his time. So he believed that everything could be reduced to essentially the molecular level, and that was it. Basically, the molecular world was just a miniaturized version of ours. Right.
Bouncing billiards, basically.
Exactly. And so then over the next roughly two centuries, the Newtonians said that the supernatural doesn't exist, the afterlife doesn't exist. The only things that exist are what can be observed. And then with the dawn of the 20th century came the quantum physicists, Einstein, Max Planck, Louis de Broglie, Heisenberg, Feynman. And so with the advent of quantum physics, we now see that things exist beyond the neutron, proton, electron level, and that on its most basic level, everything is the same form of electromagnetic energy. But as Einstein explained, that energy vibrates at different frequencies. And so that's why we vibrate at a different frequency than the desk I'm sitting before or the camera that I'm talking to. But then on a subatomic level, everything is energy. And that energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transferred from one form to another. So that when we die, the electromagnetic field in our brain, which is our soul, doesn't die with the body. It simply transfers to another frequency. And so now in the 21st century, quantum physicists from Moscow to Tokyo, all over the world, are starting to say, eternal life certainly is provable at some point.
Welcome to the radio, Wasteland. Welcome to the radio.